Okay, this is our fourth video in the series. We're going to be looking at the Input3 window, so how we collect the location. This one should be quite short because most of the stuff we've already covered, so I'll try not to take too long on this one. Okay, let's have a look at the code. So Input3, let's first of all look at the actual user interface. So again, it's a list. So we've got the same sort of things we need to deal with like we did in the main window. So it's another good example. So they're going to be presented with a list of locations, they'll make their choice and then they'll click on get quote. So let's look at the Input3 code. So again, as you know, when we start the window or when we create the window, currently it's sitting with no data in it. So just like we did for the main window, we're going to have to populate the list with the data as soon as it loads. So if we have a look for this window, again it's in the same namespace, the same big drawer, it's got its own container, Input3, and we set up the data that we need for this window. So it's a list of all the locations. So it's just a string list of all of the places. So again, collection of data, all the same data type, all strings, stick them in an array. So string array with the name location, and there's all of the different locations. Now again, we need to keep track of whether or not the user has made a selection from the list, because if they haven't, we don't want them to progress. So the last time the way we did that was we recorded the index, and then at the end we checked to see if the index was a positive index, in which case they had therefore made a selection. This is a slightly different way of doing it in case people would prefer or want to understand an alternative. So we're going to use a Boolean flag. We talked about flags before to basically indicate if something is true or false. So we're going to create a flag called location selected, which initially is set to false. So the flag is down, okay, because they haven't selected a location yet. First method that's called when the window loads, remember, constructor. Special method that's got the same name as the class, Input3, always has the initialized component to build the window, and like we did with the main window, we're going to add some extra code in here to get it to set up the list box when the window loads. So same deal as main window. Basically we're going to go through every item in this location array and add it to the list. So we're going to start at index 0 of the array, Prestwick Airport, and we're going to go all the way until we reach the end of the array. I guess a quick reminder, we use the length to determine where the end is. So in this case, the length of this array is, let's look, Prestwick Airport, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 items. So you're probably saying, well, why are we saying less than 5? Because remember, indexing starts at 0. So that's index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last item is index 4, so that's why it's less than the length. Okay, every time we pick an item, every time we go around the loop, we grab an item out of this array called location. So we go here, first time round, we pick the item 0, because I will be 0 initially, and we add it to the list box. The list box is called list locations. Again, back round the for loop, this time I plus, I will be 1, so it will go and grab whatever's at location 1, which is Glasgow Airport, and so on. And each time adding the item to this list box. So the list box will be populated. Right, let's go back and look at the screen again. So 2 events we need to handle. We need to handle what happens when the user clicks and selects an item, and what happens when they click on the button. So let's look at those event handlers. First of all, when they select an item. So just as before, if they click on something, it'll come into this event handler to say, oh, they've made a selection, here's what to do. So basically, we'll ask the list box, what is the index of the selected item, and we'll store it. Now, because they've now made a selection, our flag, location selected, which we set here, initialize it to false, they've now made a selection, so we can now set that to true. So the flag is up. Then we want to go ahead and find out what it is they've picked. So we use the index from the list selected list item, and we use it to look up the location array. So say they picked the second item in the list. So that would be index 1. 0 is the first, 1 is the second. So it will take index 1 and it will go to the location array and it will go to index 1. So that's index 0, index 1. So it will pick Glasgow Airport. So that's what they've selected. So it will take, this becomes Glasgow Airport, and it will take that string and it will put it into our central store. Oh, yep, there we go. So this location, other one here, this location, as you can see, needs to go into the hire details location. So we know how to do that now. We need to use the name of the container first and then the actual variable we're updating. So now we've completed our task of putting the location into the central store. Second event is what happens when they click on this get quote button. So we don't want to navigate unless they have picked a location. So this time we're going to use the flag to check to see if the flag is up. So we're saying if the location selected is true, so they have selected something, then we'll go ahead and we'll navigate using the 3 steps. So the next window to navigate to is, after input 3, is the results window. So we create a new results window, stick a label on it, go into memory, grab it, show it to the user, and then we close the input 3 window that we're currently on. If the flag's not up though, and they haven't made a selection, then we don't go any further. We just should tell them that they've not made a selection. So that means they can't go any further. Okay, that's the end of this video for the input 3 window. We've got one more to go, which is the results window. So you can have a wee look at that one.